You're watching ICENET, independently covering New York Islanders hockey past and present, bringing you the tradition and nostalgia you know and love with a modern feel. This is where Islanders tradition and pride are always our number one. Built by passion for the orange and blue. Isles coverage. Taking a step into the future by reaching into the past. ICENET. Dynasties live here.
If you touch, certainly whether it's Pierre Turgeon or Jeff Williams, you're going to pay a price. I think it's probably within the range. If there's a high range being boiled in oil and a low range being 21 games, then he was in the range.
I am a big believer that the victim's team should be compensated. There has to be restitution. There wasn't any. When I first heard about 21 game suspension, I thought I was hoping at least that it was 15 games against the rest of the league and 6 games against the New York Islanders for all of the times that the Washington Caps play the Islanders next year. That wasn't done, but all in all, I have to give the NHL high marks. I think this was well handled.
The longest suspensions for inaction misconduct in baseball: Pete Rose for bumping umpire Dave Pallone. Kermit Washington docked 26 games for punching Rudy Tomjanovich. Charles Martin was suspended 2 NFL games for slamming Jim McMahon to the turf. Hunter's 21-game punishment, just in case you're wondering, was preceded as the worst NHL suspension by Tom Lysiak of the Chicago Blackhawks, who intentionally tripped a linesman and was suspended by the league for 20 games in 1983.
Life without Pierre Turgeon continued for the New York Islanders.
Berg is able to. Brown drives the puck.
And what a hit by Jamie McCowan on Bobby Basson. Basson trying to move down the right boards, and McCowan with good speed and good position just comes right over, and with the hip and the left shoulder takes Basson out of the play.
Osborne to the net, but the pass in front of him. Osborne a drive from the near boards. Joseph the save. And Zezel from behind the net in front. Can't get a good shot on goal as he's wrestled down. Craig Janney in his own zone with a punt for the Blues. Slides it ahead. He's hooked down. Referee Paul.
Right here. Separated shoulder. Hunter, of course, has been indefinitely suspended. The league has not yet decided what they're going to do about Hunter. Turgeon's just waiting to play, and Al Morganti is with him. Al?
Pierre, first of all, how is the shoulder? How does it feel? I know you had therapy this morning. Is it coming along okay?
Yeah, I feel pretty good right now, but still, you know, a little bit sore, and I can't really do some quick movement. I gotta go really slow, and last few days I've been doing therapy, and hopefully it's gonna be better in the next week or so, and we'll see from there.
Originally we thought 6 weeks, and in the playoffs a lot of times the guys get healthier quicker than they should, I guess you could say. Is there any chance you come back in this series winning the first game if it goes long enough?
Well, that'll be tough, but you never know. You know, we're working hard right now to do some, some movement on the shoulder, and like I said, we'll see. We're taking day by day and see from there. Right now, we can't really tell when I'm going to get back.
Okay, you came in today from New York to be around the club. Can you still be a factor with the team, a leader in the locker room in spite of the injury?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I just, I want to try to follow the team, and to be here, I think, I went to the dressing room before and, give, talk with the guys, and the guys, want to do well without me in the lineup, and I think they will. And like I said, I want to be around the guys, and
Lemieux in front, shot. He got the backhander, but it went wide of Glenn Healy. And the first chance, first game of the series, and of course it's got to be Lemieux. There is Glenn Healy, who will be tested, the 30-year-old who was 1-1 against the Pittsburgh Penguins during the regular season.
Their game, which is dump and chase, but to dump it in without Tom Barrasso getting a stick on it.
And that is tough to do, and Lemieux moving in, and Healy will cover up. The new daddy right there is Mario Lemieux. He and his fiancée, the baby was born this past week on Thursday. They haven't decided on a name yet. I asked him whether or not, hey, Mom and Dad get a little split in division on this. He just smiled. So we're waiting to see what the baby's name is going to be.
There's not a female version of Stanley, is there?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No. Young lady, 8 pounds. Pretty good size.
Now 3 ounces.
There's Tom.
Talked about Tom Barrasso's puck handling abilities. The New York Islanders will be hard-pressed to keep it away from him. A couple of things they can do. Dump it in soft into the corner so that if he goes to get it, he ends up a long way from his cage. Put it in so hard around the bench, especially their ability to get the puck out of the zone. And that move up the boards by Tom Barrasso is the 4th time early in this game that he has handled the puck.
Troy Loney, rebound, shot saved by Healy. Too good. Murphy's shot deflected wide. 2 strong chances down low, and the Islanders clear it over the glass and into the seat to take the heat off. Healy, we said he's got to come up big in this score yet in this one. Intended for Troy Loney, rolls in. Big Troop going back to get it. Healy held it up. Troop went down. Loney set it. Shot! Score! It did go in! A mistake by the New York Islanders, and Mike Needham makes it a 1-0 Pittsburgh lead.
God, it's the second time, Gary, that Uwe Krupp has gone back. Now, the first time I speculated that Mario Lemieux might have tripped him up, but Krupp simply loses his footing. I don't know if there was something on the ice. Skaters can lose an edge, but this is the kid line with Mike Needham scoring the goal. Martin Straka, the rookie out there, with the veteran Troy Loney. This is the line, if they score, is a huge bonus to the Pittsburgh Penguins. But the one thing, obviously the New York Islanders cannot afford unforced errors. Now, it's tough to blame a player for falling. I mean, Uwe Krupp just didn't stumble there. Something happened to his skate, or he stepped on something on the ice, and give the Penguins credit for being there quickly. If they didn't have good forechecking pressure coming,
Krupp up near side, pressure, Malakoff, his shot, skips off the stick, rebound right in the crease. Somehow Barrasso got back as the bounce of the puck came right into the crease after he moved out.
Yeah, the Islanders are going to have to hope for their crazy bounces. They haven't been able to keep the puck away from Barrasso, so even the wide shots, they hope to end up creating some kind of adventure for him.
Well, they had one right there. Malakoff with a cannon scores! Can this guy shoot? Malakoff, the rocket. Barrasso didn't react until the puck was coming out of the net.
What a shot. Gary, Malakoff, even in the National Hockey League, didn't really discover how dangerous his shot was until a couple of months into the season. This is one of the rookies I was talking about on the blue line. He's 24 years old, 6'2", 207 pounds, and can he rip it? Blew it by Tom Barrasso. Last year in Russia, in his club team in the Elite League, Gary played 40 games. He got 1 goal. This year he got 14 goals in the National Hockey League, which is as tough a league as there is in the world, because Al Arbour convinced him, hey, you're a shooter. You're not just a passer. And can he ever rip it?
What a shot he's got. Malakoff ties this game up at 1-1. 12:20 the time of the goal. King and Vasky had the assists on it.
Maybe it's a bench blade that they can't see that quickly, but skate guys are great. They know it just looking at it.
Krupp shot, save, underneath Barrasso's pad. And that's where it stays, and they get the whistle. Boy, you're seeing Greg Parks working the power play, number 24 of the Islanders. What a moment for him. He played in Sweden all season long, 39 games, and came back over, and with the injury to Turgeon and out for the series, Parks is the man. Greg Parks has been called up to take his ice time, and he got for Francis. Francis and Murphy along the blue line on this 2-man advantage, just held in. In order to be offside, that puck's got to come out of the zone entirely outside the line, and it didn't that time. Mullen back, Murphy drops it for Francis. They close in, Murphy, Francis, see how close they're getting. Shot, save made by Healy, and it comes by Mullen on the near side. 47 seconds on the 2-man advantage. Game tied at 1. Larry Murphy, one-timer, save, rebound, save again, Healy. Puck loose, comes to Francis. Murphy shot, hit the post. Rebound deflected into the circle and cleared out of the zone.
Well, Glenn Healy is hurt. I'm not sure that last one hit the post, Gary. It may have hit Healy, or the shot before that. He is down and he is hurt. Larry Murphy waded into 2 consecutive blistering shots, both of which I think hit Healy. I know the first one did.
Is he holding his knee? Larry Murphy had all kinds of time. What the Penguins wanted to do finally was simply get the puck on Healy and outnumber the defenders. Take a look. There's only one guy in front of Healy in blue, and there are 2 Penguins. So he made the first save, and I'm not sure that he was hurt on this one. Sometimes there's a delayed reaction on the pain getting to you, but it usually only takes a couple of seconds. He was able to get up after that, face another one. Oh, that hit him in the arm, didn't it? It hit him somewhere in the bicep or up near the shoulder. From overhead, you can see that the Penguins had him outnumbered.
This is where he gets back up.
He did a terrific job. I mean, he just scarecrowed. He tried to spread his legs out and put his arms out. Well, gosh.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is. The shot clearly caught him on the arms. Whether or not he twisted something else in all the flopping around he was doing to try and find the puck. Looks like he's going to stay in.
He's got guts. I'll tell you what. Don't worry about Glenn Healy coming out unless he is really badly hurt.
He has started all of the Islanders. 3:21 to go here in the first period, a 1-1 game.
Boy, there's a perfect look at it. Right in the crotch of the arm. But you saw the effort that he made. I mean, he played that perfectly. I mean, the only really choice he had is to spread out. That's tough for one man to do, but Glenn Healy spread out as well as any man could.
He goes cross ice. Pittsburgh trying to get it lined up. Stevens centering pass. Too far for Tocchet. Francis has got it. Back for Tocchet. One-man advantage. 5-on-4 now. Mullen back for Murphy. Lost it just out of the box. Ray Ferraro. Breakaways onside. Scores! Ray Ferraro just out of the penalty box has given the Islanders a 2-1 lead on a short-handed goal.
And the wrong guy to end up giving a breakaway to. Ray Ferraro, the hottest New York Islander in the playoffs, and Gary, I got to tell you, he put a major league move on Tom Barrasso, and now the Penguins are arguing, perhaps they're arguing that it was a 2-line pass, because the puck can't cross 2 lines and get to a player who was there waiting for it. If the player follows the puck over the second line, that's fine, but here it is, jumping over Larry Murphy's stick. Well, that certainly isn't a 2-line pass.
I think they were questioning whether he got back on side after it came out.
Watch this move, though. He shows shot. That froze Tom Barrasso. That little move of the hands that let Tom Barrasso think he was going to shoot absolutely froze Barrasso. Larry Murphy was trying to gamble and get a shot away. He had to know Ferraro was coming out. Ferraro knows he's got time. Look at him. He's cradling the puck. Gets it flat first. Now watch what he does. Ooh, I'm going to shoot. No way. Tom Barrasso went for the first move, and Ferraro made a terrific deke to the backhand. Give him credit.
Ferraro left it to the point. Larry Murphy moves over, trying to cut it down. Thomas back in the middle. King shot, save, rebound, King. And he clears it back out. Barrasso, good save. Barrasso again covering on the point shot. The Islanders putting some pressure on. Malakoff again with that big booming shot from the right point.
But Gary, Derek King with his scoring chance. See Tom Barrasso leaning, trying to look through legs, look around, and that baby was coming right up to his chin. Oh, super recovery. And that's another thing the Islanders do. They'll try and blast from the blue line and then simply overload in front. Try to get a 3-on-2 in front.
Norton the shot. Save again by Barrasso as the Islanders put the pressure on this power play with 45 seconds left to go. And you know the Islanders are tasting the opportunity to do something here against Pittsburgh while Mario Lemieux is out for the rest of this game. There is Straka in the middle. Larry Murphy for Straka and Yager. Yager jammed inside of the net. Still loose. Yager still has it. Yager looking for some help in front. Everybody moving in front of the net. Yager decides to heck with this. I'll bring it out myself. Murphy the shot. Save made by Glenn Healy. And a whack taken by Troy Loney out front. Islanders up. Play goals. New York Islanders were 16th in killing off penalties during the regular season. There's a chance. New York Islanders short-handed. Dumped in front. Shot. Barrasso scored! The New York Islanders. Benoit Hogue. Can you believe right off the face-off a 3-1 lead? Their second short-handed goal of the day.
Well, you called it. And I'll tell you what, Benoit Hogue's knuckle looked pretty good on that one. I mean, if Benoit Hogue, look at him standing all alone in front. And you know the tendency when you're on the power play, well, Barrasso didn't have a chance. The tendency on the power play
is to forget about the coverage. I mean, it's so easy to lapse into, well, they don't have a chance. It's in our end. We've got 5 guys here. There's going to be no problem. If you don't have a regular strength mentality, at least on the face-off, things like that happen.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. 3 times over here in Pittsburgh right now. Power play for Pittsburgh, but Benoit Hogue's shorthanded goal, his second of the playoffs and his 3rd overall goal of the playoffs, has given the Islanders a 3-1 lead. 38 seconds left in the advantage. Back to Yager from Murphy. Drops it wide side. That's Lemieux's point shot right there, but he's not out there, of course. Covered up by Glenn Healy, and he hangs on. Rick Tocchet on that weak side where Mario Lemieux would normally be playing. Got a good shot off, but Healy made the save.
Becomes a strong side as soon as the puck gets over there when Mario's standing there. Rick Tocchet had a little trouble getting this one away. I want to call it between their 4 guys.
Yager the shot. That one blocked. Yager comes back to get it. Good block made that time by Francis. Centering pass in front. Yager trying to run it in. Healy's got it. Hangs on. And it's getting a little nasty down there in front.
Pair of 10s going at it. Claude Loisel in blue and Ronnie Francis for the Penguins. Help arrives for Ron Francis in the form of Rick Tocchet. Claude Loisel is a defensive specialist.
Nobody can get it out. In front, Mullen tip save by Healy, and there goes the net. And a penalty coming up on it. Great save by Healy. A cross-check down low as Mullen was screaming through the middle, and he got cross-check going through by Dennis Baskey.
Did he ever? But that was after he got his shot away. He was right in front of Glenn Healy. Maybe he was a little too close. Sometimes when you get so close, there's no room to shoot by him. But Dave Tippett with a nice move here just to keep the play alive, to move it into Joey Mullen. And Gary, he didn't even try to shoot the first one. He just deflected and then flipped over. But check the cross-check. Watch Baskey, number 37, just bury Joey Mullen. Watch the swat by Mullen here, though. Watch this. Crunch. And Gregson didn't see that. I thought that Gregson was going to call both. Here's Joey Mullen's tip. Those tips are great as long as you got a lot of oomph on the shot. In other words, if it's a hard shot and you tip it, boy, it really hands.
Pittsburgh power play. The Islanders are leading 3-1. Players in front of the net down. Tocchet centers. Healy covering up. Rolls free shot. Stevens and a whistle as Healy's got it underneath him. Pittsburgh, their players are closer to being in the net than the puck right now.
Look at Darius Kasparaitis. He is looking at Terry Gregson saying, what do you want from me? What do I have to take before you'll call a penalty? It's usually the defenseman that's cross-checking the offensive guy, but look at Rick Tocchet in front of Glenn Healy, flattened Kasparaitis, and Kasparaitis is holding his back as he's getting up, and really, he took so long to get up that it gave Ron Francis a chance to get by him. Remember I talked about in the first period, if you're going to go down and whether it's a dive or whether you're really hit, you can't assume the call is going to be made. In other words, you've got to get back up as quickly as you can, because if the call doesn't...
Held in, McEachran drops it, Murphy, blue line, centering pass, deflected, Healy hits underneath him, finds it with the glove, and pulls it in. Glenn Healy is playing some magnificent goal right now, having to be very focused because the puck's all over the place in the crease, with lots of other bodies in there with it.
And the Penguins are doing what they have to do now. With Mario Lemieux out of the lineup, they lose such a great portion of their finesse game. They've got to become the power forwards that they have the size to become. Kevin Stevens went crashing in there. Ron Francis was in front. See them both in there. There's Kevin Stevens going to the front, and Ron Francis is there. So as long as the Penguins get the puck to the front of the net, they've got a chance with their size, which is really their most underrated asset, to give Glenn Healy a real...
Yager on the power play unit. Penalty is over. Islanders get their man back. Even strength. Al Samuelson shoots it in. Loney couldn't get it. That one just bounced. So slow, so soft, it's bouncing all over the place, and Healy had trouble with that one, is more than he would probably in a power shot. Arson waiting for his teammates to get onside. Yager intercepts. Yager's getting a lot of ice time here. Shot deflected in. Healy to make a save, kicked in by his own player. Jeff Daniels ended up with a shot. Rebound came back out towards the top of the crease. Centering pass. Al Samuelson back to get it. Barrasso also helped out on the play. Islanders keeping the heat on. They've been doing that all game. Point shot. Malakoff deflects to the corner. Over to get it. Greg Parks. Parks right back to him. Samuelson moves over on him. Tipped it into King. King, Parks, Thomas on this line for the Islanders.
They've been terrific.
Really outplayed them in this game. Knocked down by Malakoff. taken by Larry Murphy at center, up for Mullen. 5 minutes to go here in the second. Mullen trying to run it in, got it back. Down low, Francis centered off Healy's stick. The goaltender had to knock away the centering pass. Murphy winds up, takes the shot. Tip, score! Daniels hit it the first time, and Mullen may have tipped it on the far side, but it's a 3-2 game.
You know, really, the only area that the New York Islanders haven't covered really well is now and again in front. They've allowed the Penguins to outnumber them and get in behind them. Malakoff laid off Jeff Daniels, and he tipped it perfectly. Remember, we talked about how hard the shot is coming. You stop it, shoot it, or you tip it. Well, this one had a lot on it, so Jeff Daniels, all he had to do was redirect it. And Glenn Healy had to stand there helplessly as it went through his legs. But look what's in behind. See Ron Francis on the top left, number 10. He is actually in behind number 14, Tom Fitzgerald. Daniels was to the side of Malakoff. So man-to-man coverage for the Islanders has to be tight.
A penalty coming up on it. Delayed call against the Islanders. Extra skater up for Pittsburgh. Murphy shot deflected. Hit the post. Score! That will not count. Stevens put it in, but it will not count. Was he in the crease?
I think it was the skate kick, Gary, and I think the replay will show that Kevin Stevens kicked it up towards his stick, and which was also towards the net, and tried desperately to make contact with the puck before it crossed the line with his sticks to make it legal.
He's not arguing very much about it.
No.
So he obviously feels the call was a right one. And a good view, Terry Gregson right there on the goal line where he was supposed to be. The video replay judge upstairs, of course. We'll take a look at it as we do.
You can see Healy out challenging again. Remember in the first period he was tucked back in. There's Stevens with the skate. There he took his swat at it and missed it. Had he been able to make contact with the puck with his stick, it would have counted. Healy was out cutting down the angle. The skate, oh man, he just missed it on the way in.
He was also in the crease ahead of the puck. Either way, I think that one doesn't count. Watch his skate right there.
Yeah, I wonder if he would have called a skate.
I think so. I think he did. I think you're right, Bill. I think it was. We'll check in with John Saunders.
Gentlemen, it doesn't take long for the Kings and the Canucks to get things going. Cliff Ronning, watch a nice pass to Dixon Ward, who's streaking towards the goal. The first move is stopped by Stauber, but watch the puck trickle between his legs into the goal. A minute 40 later, Mike Donnelly lets go this one in front of McLean, right through the 5-hole, ties it up at 1 apiece under 10 minutes to go in the first period. That's to Gary and Bill.
John, thanks very much. Firepower in that game, and boy, was there some in the last series, Calgary and Los Angeles.
But the Kings can't play the way they played against Calgary and come out of that series against the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, it was run and gun, and we'll just hope for the best.
Vancouver has not taken advantage of the home ice situation, haven't blitzed at all.
Babbich's shot. Zhitnik up with that one. On now with Donnelly, then on to Millen. Watched by Ronning. Millen pivots, feeds it across. Zhitnik had trouble, but gets it. Cranks a shot, and that one went wide. Momesso starting it back on for the Canucks. 6:25 to go in the first of a 1-1 tie. On with it is Cliff Ronning. Ronning hammers one that went wide, but right to Merzen for a drive. He scores!
Vancouver.
Flipped in. Glenn Healy looking for the victory in net. Kasparaitis back. Took the hit from Stevens. That held the puck in. Stevens tipped it. Just missed Yager cutting through. They've got one more chance. In front of the net. Yager turns around. Can't get it in the corner. Tipped on the goal, and that's it. The New York Islanders have upset the Pittsburgh Penguins in Game 1 of the second round. The full house leaving here in Pittsburgh. Bill Clement silenced by
Doug Gilmour scored the game winner in last night's opener of the Norris Division Finals at Maple Leaf Gardens. From the opening face until the game winner at 3:16 in the second overtime period, there were 98 shots on goal, 64 by the Maple Leafs, 61 of which were stopped by the Blues goaltender Curtis Joseph. A look back now on a remarkable game on Nightlights.
Collins Sanders in front of Molino. He shoots it right on. A great split save. Ellis, wrist shot, pass, save, rebound. Hits the side of the goal. It's centered in front by Molino. Loose puck in front. Molino trying to chop at it. Gilmore still with it. Took a shot. Pass save. Down goes Joseph. The helmet of Joseph is knocked off of his head. Andrechuk in over the line. Pass back to Gilmore. His shot and a pass save made by Joseph. Gilmore back to the goal. Gilmore looking in front. Gilmore still with it. Gilmore trying to come out the other side. Now comes the front.
Cleveland leads in the final game against the New York Islanders. Took out Pierre Turgeon, separated shoulder. Turgeon out of this series. Hunter gone for 21 games.
He just mishandled it with Stevens going to the net. A big chop by Vasky. I'm not sure that it hit him in the face. God, Vasky just fanned on his pass. But it was a pretty good chop that Kevin Stevens took in the arms. Already the Penguins have more jump than I saw in the entire 60 minutes of Game 1, Gary. And they're going to have to get mileage from their big guns. Kevin Stevens, Rick Tocchet, Jaromir Jagr. Yes, they've played pretty well in the playoffs, but not
to get the work with Mario Lemieux out of there. He's one of the rookies who'll be in the game tonight. Wraparound attempt, knocked down. Needham had it. Dumped back into the corner. Comes up along the board. Great pressure put on Troy Loney. Loney following it up, but he was chipped away by Needham as he tried to get it back to him. Jennings held it in momentarily. Loney knocks it to the corner. Loney, McEachran, and Needham on this. He did. Sitting top of the crease. Murphy's shot. Deflected. Rebound. Save made by Healy. And clipped out of the zone by Travis Green.
I can guarantee you that Kevin Stevens has done a lot of self-talk in the last 48 hours, Gary. He looks like a man possessed.
Save made by Healy off the glove and high over the net. That would have gone in. Parks will break it out. Parks who came on, Greg Parks from Sweden, to take the place of Pierre Turgeon in this series out on the ice. Kasparaitis, offside call in the out.
Terrific save early. 3-on-2 with a drop pass to Ron Francis. No sweat for Healy. He saw it all the way and made a nice quick save. And look where he's standing. He's back in the crease because this is a 3-on-2. I talked to him yesterday and he said, yes, I have modified my approach as far as how aggressively I play. The Washington Caps didn't have the passing ability of the Pittsburgh.
3-on-2. Thomas save Barrasso, and he'll hang on, no rebound. And Jennings and King have a what say to the side of the net. While they are separated, we're going to check in with Tom.
All right, Gary, at Montreal, both teams on the board. Vincent Damphousse of the Canadiens stealing a Doug Bodger clearing pass, taking the puck behind the net. There's the errant clearing pass, and skates in front of Grant Fuhr and scores 1-0 Montreal. But 28 seconds later, Kenny Sutton with a blast, beating Patrick Roy, and we're tied at 1 in Montreal. While I try and go out and find my voice, let's go back to Pittsburgh, Gary.
Tom, we have great empathy with you, I'll tell you.
Tom, your timing's got to be better than that. You can't lose your voice. We got a couple of tough months ahead of us. Steve Thomas here on this 3-on-1. It was a 2-on-1 that turned into a 3-on-1. Surveyed the passing option and then decided to let it rip. Not a bad choice. Steve Thomas has the second fastest shot on this Islanders team. Croup 97 miles an hour. Steve Thomas 96 miles an hour.
He was a 37-goal man during the season for them. Francis has it. Francis sends it into the corner. Norton going back to get it. Stevens was up. Stevens takes him out. Mullen the shot right through the crease. No angle. Ramsey over to Mullen. Shot. Score!
If this is any indication of what is to come from the Penguins, they're going to have a big night. I'm talking about rhythm and timing. They didn't have any timing. Mike Ramsey just sort of drifted that one to the long side. I don't know if he was looking for Mullen or not, but all of the timing was perfect on this. There was screen in front, but Ramsey moves it over to the far side, and Joey Mullen just kind of did a redirectional push into the net. I mean, the Penguins look so much more intense and so much smoother already. They don't seem to be moving in fits and starts. They've got rhythm in this game.
They are working, and you saw Joey Mullen a milestone tonight. His 100th career playoff point, the 41st player in National Hockey League history to reach the milestone. He gives them a 1-0 lead at 4:37. Ramsey and Ron Francis get the assist. Banged it to the wide side of the net as it went off Croup. Picked up by Patrick Flatley. On their 5th shot, Pittsburgh gets the first goal of the game. Couple up on the board for the New York Islanders, but thus far, the first 5.5 minutes have been dominated by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Croup knocks it down. Penguins right in the jerseys. Little hacking down low, Kasparaitis. His pass blocked by Yager. Glenn Healy leaves it to the side. Barrasso rebound. Francis tipped wide, and it goes to the corner. Great scoring opportunity. Mick Vukota had the original chance as he got by the defense. Francis trying to bang it up along the board.
Closed the schools.
Wow.
Would have had to if Mick had scored. Gosh, Mick Vukota is the Islanders' enforcer, but he didn't look like it on that play. I didn't know he had that good a shot, Gary.
And it was well placed. Yeah. It was hard and well placed. Into the middle, intended for Stevens. Taglianetti couldn't get it to him. Flatley backing up, couldn't get it. Stevens will take it into the zone. Norton there, tips it up in the air. Stevens drops it, tries to get the centering pass as he had Tippett go by him, but he couldn't get it to him. Pittsburgh up 1-0. Flatley back for the Islanders. He gets stood up. Nice play by Taglianetti. Ferraro able to hold it in. Ray Ferraro still leading all goal scorers. The National Hockey League playoffs coming into this game. He's got 9. Uwe Krupp dumped it off to Ferraro. He leaves the pass. Flatley shot. Save made off the blocker of Tom Barrasso. Cleared out of the zone. Good pass by Jaromir Jagr to create the one-on-one. Kasparaitis and Tocchet. Tocchet wide. Tocchet after his own rebound. He got it centered. Jagr coming in too hard for him to handle. Jagr centers. Healy the save. Tocchet the shot. Again, Healy makes the save. And there'll be no rebound on this one. Fire in the eyes right there. Rick Tocchet. Short side, and he got it right down along the ice, chipping away. Vukota. Gregson just getting out of the way. Bill McCurry, rather, away from that one. Bill McCurry, our referee tonight. Randy Minton, Leon Stickle, the linesman. That one shot by Parks along the ice wide. Held in by Norton. Kjell Samuelsson behind the net. Samuelsson held in by King of the Islanders. King back to Parks. Parks cutting it into the net. Samuelsson blocked it. King again for Parks. Shot save Barrasso. Parks was right on the goal crease that time. Greg Parks had the great chance. Tocchet brings it in. Tocchet, Jagr, and Tippett on the line. Played at the point by Ramsey. Ramsey a little deeper. Jagr. Jagr trying to center. Taken out by Kurbers. Center. Tocchet. Tippett shot blocked. Did not get in. Tippett trying to follow it up, but King got it up and out of the zone. Greg Tocchet back at center. Parks all over it. Good play. Greg Parks will dump it behind the net and head to the bench.
Boy, Greg Parks is far more confident in this game. He started game 1 to replace Pierre Turgeon. He'd only played 2 games of the last 26 for the New York Islanders, but he was...
Harry Murphy from Francis back to him. Ron Francis trying to center. Delgarno takes him out of the play. Nice work by Brad Delgarno. Whipped around the boards by Brian Mullen at center. Pittsburgh right there again. Murphy to Tocchet. Tocchet pays for it as he got hit by Delgarno. Healy forced out with Francis coming in. Quick, hard pace. Stevens tried, fires it, the save made by Healy. Kasparaitis in the corner. His get up out of the zone is just that. That's all. Right back to get it, Peter Taglianetti. Islanders making quick changes here. This will be an icing call. Nope, Healy's going to play it to the corner. Stevens again. Mullen a shot. Deflected deep as it was blocked. Ooh, is he wide open. That was a Jack Nicklaus wind up and let her go kind of blast right there.
John Daly.
Yeah, all the way around, wrapping around your neck. Boy, he got all of that one, but it never got in. It was blocked at the top of the circle. Mullen net. He did run his own goaltender. Vasky saved Barrasso. Rebound Ferraro. Penalty coming up. Shot home. Shot deflected wide by Ferraro. Net comes loose. There's the whistle. Power play coming up for the Islanders. Tommy Kurbers brought back. Thanks. Save by Healy. And the puck is underneath him. Mullen tonight getting opportunity after opportunity in this game. And Healy again denies him his second goal of the game.
Gary, once again, I can't say enough about the pass to Joey Mullen from Kevin Stevens. I mean, Joey ultimately only had one way to go with this one, Gary, once he faked the slap shot. Watch it. Fakes the slap shot. Now watch the Islander arrive on the right of the screen, right there. So Joey, when he faked the slap shot and went into the deke mode, couldn't go to his backhand, and Healy had to know that, so he just pushed off the right skate and fell down. That Kasparaitis is coming back to cut him off. Look where Healy is. He's a good 2-3 feet outside of his crease. Mullen's head was up, seeing what there was to shoot at when he wound up. When a guy goes to the deke, that's a sure sign that the goaltenders did a good job of taking away the net to either side, and you do that by moving out. It's simple geometry. When you move out, you just can't see anything to the sides.
And he knew Kasparaitis was coming. He read that perfectly to help himself out. Murphy able to hold it in as he dumped it around the net. Pittsburgh continuing to put the pressure on here, even though the shots are just 10-7 in favor of the Pittsburgh. Picked up by Larry Murphy. Murphy ahead, deflected in front. Shot, Tippett. Penalty coming up, delayed call. King Pinning Tippett up. King finally touches it up, and Pittsburgh's going to get the power play on an interference with 2:30 to go in the first period, and Pittsburgh up 1-0.
You know, Tom Barrasso was so far from this play, but he
Mullen along the blue line. Fans wanting penalties in front. Turnaround shot deflected off Tocchet. Rebound will be cleared out of the zone. Pittsburgh went 0 for 5 against the New York Islanders in the first game on the power play. They are, however, 7 for 32 thus far in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They've got a great unit. Without Lemieux, obviously, it's not nearly as good. Francis looking to that far side. Found it. Shot! Mullen deflected wide. Healy may have gotten a piece of that as it went by. Mullen was all alone again on that so-called weak side. Fitzgerald clears it out. Brought in by Benoit Hogue, short-handed. Hogue needing some help. Islanders were changing it up, so he rags it back.
Scotty Bowman had Joey Mullen on the point. I'm really surprised. Fully expected Sean McEachern to be back there.
And another penalty coming up here as Bill McCreary is calling a high sticking on a Pittsburgh Penguin who got Benoit Hogue in the face. Larry Murphy or Tocchet, I'm not sure who. We'll find out when we come back here. Let's check in with Tom.
All right, Gary, on a two-man power play in Montreal, the Sabres take advantage. Dale Howard-Chuck over to Pat LaFontaine. There's Bodger to Howard-Chuck to LaFontaine in the net. Tic-tac-toe, Buffalo leads it 2-1 late in the first period. Gary?
Rob will keep us posted on what's going on, and it's Stevens who's going to be called for the high sticking. It's a 2-minute minor, and Pittsburgh will lose 55 seconds worth of their power play.
You know, sometimes it's Kevin Stevens who takes a beating in front, but in this configuration, it was Rick Tocchet. He was leveled a couple of times in front by not only Uwe Krupp, but also by Vladimir Malakoff.
Brad Delgarno trying to center. Ramsey blocked it. Delgarno held it in for Green. Green banged up by Murphy in the corner. Along the boards, Yager. Yager, good tip pass out. 2-on-2 with McEachern. Yager moving in, takes the shot. Healy the save. Uwe Krupp puts it by him. 38 seconds left to go here in the first period. Green bringing it in. A power play for the Islanders in 3-2. Barrasso the save. And a whistle. Seconds left to go in the period. Behind the play and skating through center ice. He went down, held onto his arm, but he's still out there. And we'll see whether or not he in fact is injured.
He got crunched pretty good.
Mike Needham trying to bring it in is all alone. Parks takes it away. There's Thomas on the far side. Thomas drops it off to King. King will bring it up. King in the zone, has nobody with him to help out. Taken down low. Barrasso pokes it away from Norton. Norton held it in, but Tippett is there for Pittsburgh. Dave Tippett clears it out. I thought he was really hurt when he went down. He stayed there on his knees.
Well, he really got crushed by Needham. It was a clean hit, but there is the top of the board sticks out about 5 inches from the glass, and if you're in the wrong spot, boy, it can really jam the side of your arm or your ribs or whatever's up against it.
They're taking a look at him on the bench, but he's shaking his head. He's all right, so I guess that's what it'll be.
He wears a flak jacket. He started doing that at the midway point of the season following a rib injury, so I doubt that it was his ribs. It was probably his arm.
Brought into the zone. Travis Green. Green with Samuelson on him. Decided to back it up to Mullen. Brian Mullen. The wrist pass. Shot. Save. Barrasso and Ray Ferraro. Rebound. Tipped out to the line. Kasparaitis. Kasparaitis got stood up and puts a ferocious check on. Kasparaitis and Stevens collide, but a Pittsburgh Penguin getting up off the ice. Joey Mullen really got nailed by Kasparaitis. Thomas taken down. That's the hit along the boards.
Watch Darius Kasparaitis on this one. He's tied up with Stevens, but that doesn't mean he's going to lose focus on Joey Mullen. Watch the hip. Mullen just about goes into his bench. A couple of guys try to grab his legs, and it's almost like a pile driver. Luckily, Joey came down on the shoulder, and there is a cross-check by Kevin Stevens, for which he was called, and the Penguins are a man short.
5:41 on Stevens. There you see the power play numbers. 0 for 2 thus far for the New York by Ulf Samuelson. As Thomas wound up and took it, Samuelson reached out and caught it before it actually left Steve Thomas's stick. Parks back up for Thomas. Parks, Thomas, and King on the power play. Bad pass. Tocchet read it. Tocchet. Pittsburgh shorthanded and changing just on the ice. Samuelson, his shot deflected into the corner, rammed around by Taglianetti, and cleared not out of the zone, hit Malakoff, then out off Francis.
Ron Francis stopped. He didn't think he'd cleared that. If he kept going, he would have had a partial breakaway.
He was scared the puck was going to come back in behind.
So on this last Islanders attack, always in control. That's the one thing about Tom Barrasso. He never seems to be out of position. He never seems to exaggerate the save, which in turn would put him out of position. But quite frankly, Tom, he has been very consistent all through the playoffs. I don't think his team has. I don't think it's a huge surprise that the Penguins came out flat in game 1 with Valley.
Trying to get themselves out of it in this game, but the scoring is not coming easy here. Barrasso set the pickup on Benoit Hogue that time, cut him off as he was going behind the net, and got away with it. Played by Krupp, overskated. Francis shorthanded. Glenn Healy makes the high save and tips it away to the corner. 13 seconds left on the Pittsburgh penalty. Ray Ferraro behind his own net. Pittsburgh has bottled up Ferraro here for the first half of this game. 5 seconds left on the power play chance. Malakoff drops it, flatly the shot, deflected wide out. Samuelson blocking his second chance tonight. He's gone down twice to make that kind of a block in this game. Penalty's over. Flatly centering pass knocked away to Mullen. Mullen can't get it out of the zone. Uwe Krupp holds it in. Turnaround shot. And Barrasso with Ferraro right on top of him. They sticking one another, clubbing each other in the face. Now a little help comes in. Down goes Ferraro as Larry Murphy was not going to let his goaltender get involved with it. So he moved in and knocked Ferraro down.
You know, we speculated in game 1 that the Penguins might go after Ferraro to try to get him to overreact. You know what? He hasn't overreacted, but he's all over the Penguins. 20 of the Islanders takes a shot. That's no big deal. He's got a lot of equipment there, and it was flat with the paddle. But when Ferraro gets crunched here into Tom Barrasso, Barrasso took a right-hand swat twice into the face of Ferraro. Then he missed him with the left blocker. That could have hurt him. And then Larry Murphy shoved him down, but hey, that didn't dampen Ray Ferraro's spirits at all. Once he got crunched onto his back, he was throwing punches even from his back. Watch this. Larry Murphy on top. Ferraro drops his stick. I don't care if you're on top of me. I'm going to get you, boy.
Boy, if he'd have gotten hit with that blocker in the kisser, that sucker hurts.
You bet. I mean, the catch, they're real good puck movers.
Thomas's pass in the middle of Park. Shot right through the crease by Thomas. And Barrasso got hit and he's down. But Tom Barrasso got hit by Thomas. You see him blinking his eyes.
Well, guess what, though? I didn't even hear a whistle. I think it was Leon Stickle that blew the whistle because Bill McCreary was not buying this at all. Bill McCreary, the referee, was skating up ice.
Randy Minton, one of the linesmen, coming back to talk to him, but I think you're right, Bill. I think Bill McCreary saw the whole thing, and he didn't believe Barrasso had been hurt.
No, well, he didn't get hit very hard, and if he did get hurt in the play, it might have been from really trying to exaggerate the blow and bending a knee or something, going down backwards. Here you see it. Thomas moving towards him. With Tom Barrasso, he got creased, and then he, kind of exaggerated it going down, but the only thing I can think is that his knee was under him.
Yeah, watch, he almost had a kind of hyperextended on the knee here. Right there, that right knee. Got it bent underneath him pretty good. Tommy's back up and skating. And I will say for Tommy, Tommy's not one to take dives. Tom Barrasso at least shut down that power play coming up ice, and Al Arbor's not buying into this either. And there's no penalty called. So Bill McCreary will have his way.
I still think that Leon Stickle, the linesman, blew the play down because McCreary was I guess, assuming that was a dive and went the other way. But, when you go down like that, when you let your arms fall to the side of you, just as if you've just been shot in the chest by a cannon, I mean, that's what's going to lead the referee to believe that maybe you exaggerated it a little bit.
I don't know how you could say that. Brad Delgarno has made his presence felt in both of these games for the New York Islanders.
Betty.
Barrasso, rebound, Delgarno, and it's covered by Tom Barrasso. They do not convert the power play, and we're going to check in with Tom Lees.
All right, Gary, Montreal's converting some power plays here against the Buffalo Sabres after a high sticking call. Number 11, Kurt Muller surprises Grant Pure on the short side to tie the game at 2. And then later on, this is Dennis Savard looking, and finding Vincent Damphousse, his second goal tonight, 6th of the playoffs, 3-2. Montreal leads it halfway through the second period. Gary?
Tom, it matters. Those sweaters, that emblem, that Healy. Far side, Mullen chasing down with Vakota. Vakota just jammed it up to the blue line. Pittsburgh changing to get people out in time. Right off off the top of the helmet of Healy. It was over his head, but it was a skim shot right off the top of the mask.
Last two shots for the Penguins have both gone over the net. One by McEachran and one by Mullen. The Islanders defensemen have done a good job of at least getting their sticks in front of the shots and forcing those high shots.
Stevens that time just missed the net with a quick wrist shot. Delgarno clears it up. Shell Samuelson back to get it. Stevens clears the zone. Coop's got the puck. Stevens moves in on it. Francis trying to kick it in. Francis to Stevens. Stevens shot. Save Healy. Down they go. Puck's underneath. Covered up by Healy and Kasparaitis, who ends up in the crease with him. Fans want to call for delay of game, but they're not going to get it. Deflected wide. Good defensive work. Samuelson just tied Norton up. Didn't let him get the good full shot on Patrick Flatley. Flatley winds up, takes it. That deflected wide. Daniels has it. Can't clear it out. Melikov holds it in. Vladimir Melikov. Shot by Flatley. Save Barrasso. Drops down between the pads and long enough to get the whistle. Want to remind you that coming up next tonight, Gil's Lock. Shell Samuelson blocking that one. Bounces off Mullen in the boards. He's got enough of it to get it out the center. Ferraro playing it. Ray Ferraro dumped by Francis, who gets away with one right there as he stood him up. Joey Mullen short-handed. Tried to move it through the legs of Norton, but couldn't get it there. 30 seconds on this power play. Intercepted again. Taken by Norton. He carried that a ways. Got away with it. No. Offside. He did get away with the carry, but Thomas was already in the zone on him on the near side.
Well, it's almost as if Jeff Norton has said, I'm going to be the quarterback.
Defensive play by Tippett. Tippett was right on Thomas. Samuelson feeds it up ice. Tockett's out of the penalty box. 0 for 5 on the power play. Tockett, the big hit. He knocked Curvers down. Straka's shot blocked by Krug. Tockett trying to hold it in. Cleared around, not out. Taglianetti back behind the net. Tockett just came out of the penalty box trying to put some pressure on himself. Martin Straka sends it in. Tockett's in front of the net. McEachran to him. Had it blocked. Tockett goes to get it. Tockett circling. Tockett, Straka out there with McEachran right now. Glenn Healy plays it. McEachran tried to cut off Healy as he went back to the net. Tockett trying to hold it in on Thomas does. Finally just cleared out.
They didn't really come close to it.
And Samuelson got hit with a high stick, and a penalty is coming. They did see this one. Bill McCreary, the arm was up. Let's see whether or not this is going to be a 5-minute job, because it looks like he did get cut on it, which sometimes indicates that's what will happen.
And if he isn't cut, he's at least yelling, come on, baby, bleed.
Please.
And you can see right there, oops, pretty strong evidence.
And we've got a 5-minute major. Someone's out of this game. The New York Islanders have had a 5-minute major high sticking call. Along with that goes the automatic game misconduct.
And Gary, it's the wrong guy from an Islander standpoint. It's one of their 30-goal guys. I think it's going to be Steve Thomas. They've only got 3 guys who scored more than 30 goals during the regular season. Turgeon was in the 50s, and he is out. Now Steve Thomas is out. On the right of the screen, right at the blue line. Oh, it would look like a blatant cross-check, Gary, too. It didn't look like one of those accidental swing-around deals.
Front, Healy the save. It rolls wide, and Tippett is able to clear it out, and it went to the corner. Wow. I don't know how that didn't go in. Stevens was pushing Healy and the puck into the net, before it was finally cleared out by Tom Fitzgerald. Brought back into Francis. This is a 5-minute power play now for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They can get all the goals they can in that 5 minutes. Claude Loisel clears it out. Quick change for the Islanders. Barrasso sees it and plays it up ice. Murphy dropped off. Steve Thomas high sticking on hitting with those long passes so he can create things for himself. Samuelson shot. Healy the save and puts it in the glove. Joey Mullen standing by and waiting for the rebound that wasn't. Healy has come up big in this game with 18 shots on goal by Pittsburgh and just one by him.
You know, you ask players who they're cheering for in other series, they say, well, it doesn't matter. Well, you got to think that Glenn Healy's cheering for the Toronto Maple Leafs because he's renting Ken Baumgartner's house. Ken Baumgartner, the ex-Islander, is renting his house to the rental.
This kid can play D. Tom Fitzgerald stepped in, read the pass. And as we said, an outstanding young defensive forward. Got some ability to score, and as time goes by, may prove to be a scorer as well. Straka to Yager. Yager, wide side. Mullen. Samuelson. Yager kicked at it, couldn't control it on the aerial pass. Fitzgerald brings it out. And Tom Fitzgerald, Healy. Francis out there now. Back to Murphy. Murphy and McEachran is the so-called first power play unit. That's Mario Lemieux, of course. And cleared out Uwe Krupp. Brasso goes back to get it. 2:11 left to go in this 5-minute advantage. And right now the Islanders are getting it done short-handed here. You bet they are. 2:15 left to go in the period. Larry Murphy gains the red. At the blue line, poked away from him. Francis comes back to get it. Islanders coming up to meet Pittsburgh at the blue line, not letting him come through on the skate. Here's Benoit Hogue. He had a break. The puck would not sit for him. He was ready to fly down ice. John McEachran, he fanned on it as Delgarno picked his stick up. Glenn Healy leaves it. Malakoff around the boards, comes back to the middle. McEachran's got to go to center. 1:36 left on the 5-minute power. For Yager, blocked into the corner. Good play down low. 1:19 left on the power play. Jaromir Jagr. Want to welcome those of you who have been watching the Montreal series. We are in Pittsburgh with 1:17 to go in the second period. Joey Mullen is the only goal that came in the first. Pittsburgh leading 1-0. Steve Thomas is gone from the game for the Islanders. A 5-minute major for high sticking. But we're down to 55 seconds on the 5-minute power play for Pittsburgh. They've not scored. Jagr trying to turn it in. Healy blocked it. 1 minute to go in the period. Murphy shot. That's blocked. Murphy holds it in the zone. Off for Jagr. Jagr looking. Jagr drops it. Murphy. Fitzgerald read it and cleared it out. The break, Loisel and Francis. Francis fanning on the attempt to get it into his goaltender. Barrasso lost it to Fitzgerald. Tried to jam it in, but at the side of the net, Francis gets the puck.
Well, not only have the Penguins not scored, they've hardly come close. Those last two scoring chances, the only two scoring chances in an entire 5 minutes. The Islanders penalty killers deserve a ton of credit. And so far in this series by a wide margin, the specialty team's advantage goes to the Islanders.
Last chances here on the power play. Off the glove, Al Samuelson shot. Rebound deflected off the shoulder of Healy. 9 seconds left on the 5-minute power play. Al Samuelson shot it wide. Rebound, Malakoff doing battle. Cleared up by Loisel. The Islanders get it out of the zone. They have killed it off. 8 seconds to go in the period. Pittsburgh does not convert on the 5-minute major. The Islanders continue to trail by just 1. Bounces off the near side boards. Played finally by Ray Ferraro after Needham got knocked down yet one more time. 13:50 left to go, third period. Pittsburgh up by a score of 2-0. Samuelson moves over and takes Ferraro out of the play. Norton sends it in. Barrasso knocks it down and decides to cover as he heard King coming around the net.
And he knows to slow it down, Gary. The Penguins have gotten a little cute. They've gambled a little, lost and won there. Watch this. Quick with the pad. 6'3", 212 pounds. And for his size, by my mind, the quickest guy for his size in the NHL. There aren't many goalies that are that big. Nice move by Flatley just to tap it down and tee it up.
So the captain, obviously, Healy. Rebound, Francis scores!
The big forwards came in a huge wave, and Glenn Healy was able to get in front of Kevin Stevens. Rip here. Stevens with a high shot that Healy did well to stop. Watch Ronnie Francis here. I didn't even see this one go in, Gary. Oh, I thought it had hit the post. It went in and hit that slap that goes around the bottom of the net and came right out. Usually the puck will go into the back of the net. It came right out. And at first I thought it had gone off the post, but no way.
Did that cross the line?
Oh, I had to. You know, see, Healy was the only guy that I think thought like me that it may have hit the post or that it didn't go in.
That's what Healy's arguing about with Bill McCreary, the referee. The video replay judge can look at it. Now Troy Loney moves in.
Well, let's see if we get any action. Peter Taglianetti now has Brian Mullen and Vladimir Malakoff in his face away from the pack that you're looking at. There's the action. Two of them. Malakoff and Mullen both have them. Don't expect any fights in this series. Not only are there few fights in the playoffs, but the Penguins had the second fewest number of fights in the league this year. Quebec had the fewest.
Barrasso. Kasparaitis' shot hits the boards. Larry Murphy comes away with it. Murphy dumps it to center. Played. Vaski tried to get it. Healy leaves it for him. Pittsburgh blocked again. Larry Murphy. Murphy was right up tight on Ferraro, and the shot right into him. Good collision. Ramsey at center and Flatley. They both felt that one. We have had some shots in this game.
You're kidding? I thought I could feel it. It was that hard.
A little shaking up here in the booth. Cleared up by Hogue. Ramsey tips it right back in. Kerber's pass intercepted. Ron Francis Fitzgerald as Barrasso came out on him. Held in. Then around Hogue into the middle. Lining it up Kerbers, but he overskated the puck. Needham brings it up. Needham drops it. Point shot. Healy makes the save. Deflects way up over the glass and into the seats. 3:51 remaining. Save by Healy. A rocket shot coming down the middle from Rick Tocchet.
Glenn Healy just had to hope that this one hit him, because Tocchet stepped into this one with everything he had. Uwe Krupp had it bounce between his skates, and this is called teeing it up for somebody. What a save. You remember on Sunday, Gary, when Glenn Healy was shaken up after a shot by Larry Murphy. Talked to Glenn Healy yesterday about it. And you know, he said that he never even saw Larry Murphy shoot the puck. He took it right on the 35 on his left arm, kind of on the elbow on the arm. He said, I didn't see the shot, but you know what? I heard the shot. I was screened on the play, and even from the blue line, when Larry Murphy struck the puck, he struck it with such force. He heard it, and he went into a scarecrow position and made the stop, having never seen it, just hearing it come.
Scary enough when you can see it, much less just to hear it. 3 minutes left to go. Tom Barrasso, during the regular season, had 4 shutouts. He has recorded his 3rd career playoff shutout this year against New Jersey. The other 2 came in Stanley Cup final games. Parks dropped it off. It was blocked by Larry Murphy. And Pittsburgh will play now for their goaltender as well as the victory. They want Barrasso and themselves to have a shutout right here against the Islanders.
Scotty Bowman showing a lot of confidence still in his kids. Mike Needham, for all of the Zamboni work that he's done in this hockey game, for being down on his back, is out there and doing a terrific job.
Shot in by Loisel. High off the glass. Held in by Vakota. Parks trying to send it deeper. Blocked by Jennings. Taglianetti tying it up behind the net with Claude Loisel. Loisel tips it to Parks. Greg Parks trying to center. Went off Vakota's stick. 3-on-2 break coming. McEachran, but not for long. They're going to change it on. Glove down. Barrasso left it in the corner. Taglianetti. Francis was there. Francis got it out. Norton left to play it back. New York Islanders were shut out in the playoffs April 9 of '88. They lost to the Devils 3-0. Sean Burke, playing with the Devils at that time, had the shutout in that game. Gets into it with Troy Loney. There's already a penalty call prior to that. Vakota takes a look at Larry Murphy. Vakota's the one who's going to go to the penalty box here. He was chasing down about anything wearing another color jersey.
Isn't that the truth? Going from player to player, trying to find somebody who wanted to get into it with him. Obviously, the Penguins have nothing to gain. Mick Vakota had a few shifts in the first period. He played pretty well. He's the Islanders' tough guy. But at this stage, you have to ask yourself, what can Mick Vakota accomplish? You're going to intimidate the defending Stanley Cup champions? I doubt it. Still good contact. Troy Loney on Jeff Norton. And there it is. There's the cross-check on Ron Francis. It wasn't much of a shot, but the
power play Pittsburgh here, but they're more concerned with just holding it in the zone. Uwe Krupp's got it. The crowd standing. 2 seconds left. Tom Barrasso in Pittsburgh shutting out the Islanders 3-0. For Bill Clement and all of our crew here in Pittsburgh, Gary Thorne, thank you for joining us. Our final Pittsburgh 3, Islanders nothing series tied at 1. Back to Tommy.
Trying to burst in. Shot high as he was being hooked by Bodger. Smellick off the boards down the ice. And we're going to overtime. 4th time for both teams in the playoffs. First in this Adams final. So I guess we...
Game first period, Yuri Himalev leaves his feet to nail Paul DiPietro. That's a boarding penalty. On the Habs power play, Vincent Damphousse goes behind the net to intercept Doug Bodger's clearing pass and stuffs it by Grant Fuhr. 1-0 Montreal. Canadian penalties also a story. J.J. Daigneault cross-checks Pat LaFontaine. Jacques Demers' team is shorthanded. There's the cross-check. And there's Jacques wondering how he's going to defend the Sabre power play. The answer is he is not. Pat LaFontaine, 2 men up, slap shot in the goal. Sabres took a 2-1 lead. Then Koharski wasn't done dealing the penalties, calls a high stick. Second period, Kirk Muller on the man advantage for Montreal. Beats Grant Fuhr, the game tied at 2. And then on a even strength situation, Denny Savard finds Damphousse by himself in front. 3-2 Canadians, and Dale Howachuk to Doug Bodger. Now, Himalev was in the crease, but the referee ruled that he was being held in the crease, so the blast by Bodger counted. That's 3-3. Patrick Waugh didn't agree, but the referee...
NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, the new guy. Dale Hunter of the Washington Caps is socked with the biggest penalty for an on-ice infraction in NHL history. Hunter whacked Turgeon from the blind side right after that goal in the Patrick semifinals game April 28th. Hunter has been suspended for, get this, 21 games next season, 1/4 of the campaign. Also, no exhibition play, and it'll cost Hunter $150,000, 1/4 of his salary. The team is also fined a like amount. Yeah, it's stiff all right. The first big Bettman manifesto was not only a fine, it is a message.
I think that under all the circumstances of this particular incident, participants, the nature of the hit, that this was the penalty that was warranted. The player, Dale Hunter, needed to be appropriately punished, severely so, and I wanted to send out a deterrent message.
The main thing is I'm not on the ice, and I would love to be out there to be a part of a,
games Lysiak got for abusing an official some 10 years ago while he was with the Chicago Blackhawks. Turgeon also said today that Hunter called him to apologize and said he was unaware Turgeon had scored the goal and thought play was still underway. As for the Capitals, they say that while the penalty was very, very harsh, they have no desire to appeal. Nick?
This NHL postseason is destined to become the most thrilling ever if overtime is the factor. They're barely into the second round, but already playoff teams have tied the all-time record for most OT games in postseason. It happened tonight in Montreal, where Buffalo hooked up and caught the Canadiens in the third period. Montreal kept home ice advantage and goes up 2-0. Buffalo defense Doug Bodger sends it blindly behind the net, his own net. Vincent Damphousse from Montreal, the Canadian gunner, walks in and beats Grant Fuhr. What a terrible mistake. Montreal breaks the ice. Canadians' Dennis Savard carries behind his net, waits, surveys the scene, finds Damphousse all alone, and the Sabres have to regroup. It's 3-2 Montreal. But Buffalo goes in a 5-minute power play to open the third period. And watch Bodger's blast, but watch in the crease. Is it interference? The referee says no. The Buffalo player was pushed into the crease, and the goal stands, and they go to overtime. Watch number 21 in white, Guy Carbonneau. Nobody picks him up. Savard finds him, though, gets him the puck. The goal at 2 minutes and 50 seconds into overtime sends Montreal to Buffalo with a 2-0 lead in games, so the Sabres have some digging out to do, Fred.
Well, one thing about...
He just had a little too much adrenaline. See, he mishandled it, went to the forehand, and actually misplayed it, and that's not like Ray Ferraro. He has been a playoff goal scorer, but watch, he's got his head up. Now, perhaps he changed his mind as to what he wanted to do at the last moment. Remember, in Game 1, he scored a terrific breakaway goal on Tom Barrasso by cradling the puck.
Off the side of the net. It went off the stick of Healy first. He didn't make a save. Lemieux again tried to back it in front. Green trying to get it out, can't. Held in by Ramsey. On the boards, Mario Lemieux got stood up. Good play by Kasparaitis as Lemieux was going after it. Pittsburgh back in their own end. Larry Murphy dumps it again to center. Puck held in by Green. Travis Green lost it to Larry Murphy. Off to Jaromir Jagr to Murphy. Brought in by Larry Murphy. And Pittsburgh thought they were going to be offside. They weren't. Jaromir Jagr in the corner off the puck. Jagr coming back to get it. Has it. Puck for Thomas. Thomas. Hogue out on this line. Norton sending it in. Thomas, Hogue, and King. So we'll see some line changes tonight for the Islanders.
Al Albert has already juggled. He has moved Benoit Hogue into the center spot, so he is trying to put at least one production unit together. Those are the only 3 30-goal scorers Al has in the lineup, and he's got them all on one line tonight.
Tommy Coburn!
Buffalo didn't take long. 14 seconds into the game. Watch Kirk Muller. Wheels, fires. He beats Grant Fuhr. Montreal leading the series 2-0. They lead the game 1-0 as well. Gary and Bill.
Thanks very much. There may not be a better playoff player than Kirk Muller. So much to make the save in the backhander by Claude Loisel. Malakoff at center. Fitzgerald out there with Bakota, who's getting playing time. Mick Bakota jammed in the corner that time. Loisel put the hit on down behind the net. Kjell Samuelsson and Loisel. McEachran moves in. Puck still there. Andy Van Helm on the referee wants him to move it away and will hang on. Andy Van Hellemond has done 16 consecutive Stanley Cup finals and recognized as one of the best in the game and a great veteran.
Tommy Barrasso had to make a pretty good save on the play. One aspect of the deal for Mario Lemieux on his back is faceoffs. There he is losing this faceoff cleanly to Travis Green. And Gary, that's something that puts torque on your lower back, is when you dig in with your arms to pull the puck back. Lemieux
down by Tippett. Penalty coming up. There's the whistle. And the first power play will go to the New York Islanders. Moving in, the shot. Saved by Healy. A 2-on-1 short-handed break. Benoit Hogue's tip pass taken by Francis, and a whistle. It's a two-liner, and the face-off back in the Islander end.
How long has it taken for us to see the difference for the Penguins when Mario Lemieux was in the lineup? He had to corral this puck, Gary, with no speed, facing backwards. He flipped around and in 2 strides was going full speed and had Larry Murphy to help. Ronnie Francis, look at, he's backwards, little bit of speed, flipped around, started skating forwards, and he made the right play here. I mean, he had time to look, but the defending Islander was in good position to cut the pass. And, you know, all throughout the playoffs, to me, this is one of the most underrated aspects of it.
Tied up by Larry Murphy and cleared out by Larry Murphy. The Islanders have not scored in their last 19. 2 saves by Tom Barrasso. Uwe Krupp holding it in. They're putting the pressure on, trying to work the puck in a hurry here as Pittsburgh challenges the puck. Near side to Curvers. Curvers drops it in. Shot! Deflected by Ramsey behind the net off Derek King's stick. Thomas has it. Thomas wheeling it, looking in front to who is cutting. Cleared up and out of the zone, and Jennings steps up, freed it up for Dave Tippett as Wallach got knocked down by Jennings. Down the middle of the ice, Mike Needham rolled wide. Needham, who's had a pretty good playoff here. Thanks for getting his first chance in the playoffs this season. Sent to center, Jeff Norton brings it up. Norton moves around, one. Norton looking for help in the middle, centered it. Tippett was there, and Grant Jennings will pick it up. A lot of holding going on behind the play here at both ends of the ice. Malikoff trying to get it out, Will. Vladimir Malikoff to Thomas. His pass deflected by Shel Samuelson to Ulf. Ulf clears the zone.
Part of that holding you're talking about, Gary, is part of the Islanders' game plan.
Lemieux dropped it. Shot. Target. Save by Healy. Rebound Lemieux. Far side Delgarno. Brad Delgarno clears it out. Glenn Healy's come up with it. Was right there to pin it up. Good play by Jaromir Jagr. Pittsburgh trying to break Tippett. But he couldn't get anywhere as Tommy Curvers was on him. And Curvers will touch it up for the nice shot. Healy the save. Tippett pushes it in as he took down the Islander in front of him, Brian Mullen. He tried to push both Mullen and the puck into the net at the same time. Good. Save! Jumped it behind the net. Tocchet trying to run it out in front. Kasparaitis knocked it away to help Healy. What a chance as it was held in by Lemieux that time. Down goes Green. He got leveled by Peter Taglianetti. Ulf Samuelson in the corner, likewise putting the hit on Delgarno. Cleared to center. Jeff Norton. 2 good hits by Pittsburgh. And you've seen the difference Mario Lemieux makes here in this first period.
How many passes has he made that have led directly to scoring chances? 5, 6?
At least. Here comes Francis. Francis moving it in. Drops it. Shot! Deflected by Healy. Put in on the rebound by Francis. Ron Francis following up the shot. Makes it a 1-0 Pittsburgh lead.
There wasn't a thing Glenn Healy could do on this play. Jeff Daniels has made it back into the celebration circle, number 20 for the Penguins. He made the play happen. Ron Francis just had to dump it in. But Mario Lemieux, to rewind for a moment, has shown us what the Penguins have missed without him. That time to Rick Tocchet. Tocchet was in alone with Glenn Healy. And a look at the goal that has given the Penguins a 1-0 lead. Terrific pass by Ron Francis. Then the shot by Daniels. Top left of your screen, you can see Daniels skates in his legs. He just got reefed into the boards. Paid the price, but it worked.
So Pittsburgh is up. They've had the first goal in all 3 games of this series. They take the 1-0 lead here in the first period. Shot deflected. Thomas tried to knock it down, couldn't get it. Daniels does. They pick up the goal on their 7th shot. Joey Mullen and Francis were both at the top of the crease on that rebound shot that scored. King brought it in, tried to leave it. Daniels takes it. 3-on-2 for the moment. Goal picked up by Ron Francis, his 4th of the playoffs this year, 27th in his career at 13:08. Daniels and Taglianetti had the assists on it. 1-0 Pittsburgh. And that really quiets the house. A full house here in Uniondale, New York, and that matters because they do help the Islanders with a lot of noise here. Tippett had it taken away. Cleared over to Malikoff. Malikoff, it was sent in. Down went Jennings at center. He had the collision out there with Curvers moving in behind the net. Shell Samuelson. Curvers went down as he caught the back of the net.
Terrific save. Now, Glenn Healy's skates are just about on the edge of the crease. He has modified the way he plays for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Against the Washington Capitals, he explained he could move out and be a little more aggressive because of the skill level that the Capitals have. It just doesn't equal the forwards that the Pittsburgh Penguins have. But against the Penguins, Healy has to hedge a little bit, get back. That time it was really one of the defensive lines.
Yager, the rebound shot and a save. Healy, it went in. Jaromir Yager falling down. Healy got a piece of it, but not enough, and it's a 2-0 Pittsburgh lead.
Boy, the hunger factor is back. And Jaromir Yager, who really has been, by his standards, by his playoff standards, quiet so far, appears to really have picked up the scent. Terrific work by every Penguins line that Scotty Bowman has put over the boards. Yager shooting, I mean, that's different for him. Driving for his own rebound. Glenn Healy wasn't able to control the first one, and Yager didn't have much room, nor could he get any wood on this. Watch this. He just swatted at it. I think he surprised Glenn Healy. It looked as if Healy expected to be able to get that one back. Watch. Then Healy really looked into his glove and thought he had it. Maybe that's why he delayed.
Right under the pad.
Not much room.
Jaromir Jager's got his third knocked away as Healy plays it to the boards. Vasky stood up Yager, who never got the shot off. Yager gets the rebound behind the net. Jaromir Jager pinned up, still has it, and shot it from behind the net. Just trying to get it out in front of Glenn Healy and to knock it away. A minute 28 to go here in the period. And our exclusive coverage started.
Now look at Bodger and Schmeling. A little help for Fuhr, who scrambles for that puck, and then finally Bodger getting it right back to Fuhr. Scoots out there, and he is stopped. LaFontaine who got it back to Grant Fuhr. Scrambled in front. And from that pushing and shove match.
He's railed down off the stick of Turgeon.
LaFontaine back over McGillney from the corner. Here's McGillney. Narrowing the margin with the backhand in front. Howard Chuck couldn't get the rebound in time to tip it in. Bodger takes the shot. Good save by Waugh. He'll hang on. Well, if it's one thing for the Sabres here in this first period, they're starting to get their puck control back. He's down on the ice, so McGillney comes back up with it. Back over to Bodger. Now Howard Chuck top of the slot. Looking for McGillney or LaFontaine. 4-on-3 for the Sabres here. Howard Chuck to LaFontaine. Trying to get it back to Howard Chuck. Intercepted by Desjardins and cleared. 24 seconds. High over the crossbar, and for that matter, the glass and into the crowd. Rebound off the pad of Waugh. Audette digs it out of the corner, back to Howard Chuck. Sabres look to get on the scoreboard here in the closing seconds of this first period. Bodger fires it wide. Rebound on down with the backhand as Waugh scrambles. And it's poked back out to center. 5 seconds left in the Sabres power play. Leclerc, fresh pair of legs from the penalty box. Lost it. Here comes Sweeney across the line. Pass intended for Bob Aaron. Kept in by Bodger. Here's Audette from behind the net. Both teams are back to full strength now. Puck is intercepted by Haller. Checked heavily by Audette as they try to kick it along with the blade of their skate.
Jim, you see a goaltender do that, the dance like that. You're a coach. What do you think you have to do to beat him?
Down he goes. Penalty coming up as Kasperitis got dumped, delayed whistle. Islanders lose possession of it. Andy Van Hellemond blows it. And a power play coming up, and Al Samuelson having to be separated from a couple of Islanders up against the boards. Penalty occurred further down in the corner. No. Sorry, Malakoff back in, blocked by Barrasso. Apparently that one hit the post and came out.
I think it hit the crossbar, but man, it came out as quickly as it went that way. Malakoff ripped that one. Boy, I'll tell you what, that had to be close to 100 miles an hour.
Barrasso making the save on that one from Patrick Flatley. They are really moving the puck well, though, in their power play chances tonight. Kings got it and moving it so well. Pittsburgh now has gone back into the box rather than coming out and challenging the puck. Ferraro drops it and heads to the net. Malakoff again. They want him to shoot. He does. Save. Rebound. Score! Patrick Flatley and Ray Ferraro.
Well, the game plan is in place. Vladimir Malakoff, perhaps the most reluctant Islander defenseman on the power play to shoot, ripped not one off the crossbar, but a second one that Tom Barrasso couldn't handle. And all the Islanders are trying to do is get an overload situation in front. No, they're able to do that. Ray Ferraro left all alone in front of Tom Barrasso, and he's able to scoop it under him. Ray Ferraro has now scored in 9 of the last 11 games that he has played. 7 out of the last 9 playoff games, and that is all the playoff games he has played. 6 against the Capitals and 3 against the Penguins. He is still a guy that is very hot for the Islanders.
He has 10 goals to lead all goal scorers in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That is his second in this series in Pittsburgh. Now their lead is cut to 1 and get rid of those offers on the power play. They get the power play goal 1 for 2 now in this game when they've had the advantage. And they get it early in the second to get themselves right back in it. Maybe just as important, they get the fans back into this.
That would have qualified. Uwe Krupp said he doesn't take it very seriously. Doesn't take anything very seriously. So as a result, it didn't look like he was trying at the All-Star break when he was trying to qualify for the hardest shot competition, but there's nobody in this Islanders team that can rip it with a slapper or the wrist shot the way Malakoff can.
Those of you who have been watching the Montreal-Buffalo game, we welcome you to the New York Islander-Pittsburgh game, and a penalty coming up on Kasparaitis. He put the big hit on, and as he upsetted Andy Van Hellemond. He says that was a clean hit on the far side blue line, but Andy Van Hellemond immediately called it on him, and the man who gets a lot of people excited, 20-year-old Kasparaitis, goes for the first. Is playing, for those of you just joining us. Francis drops it off to Mario in the middle, shot by Stevens, deflected into the seats as Dennis Vasky got a stick on that. Pocket going at it in front with Brian Mullen.
Started with Glenn Healy.
Boy, that goal has heated this game up, has it not?
I bet it has. Islanders have come alive. Tocchet was standing there. Glenn Healy gave him the stick. There's Tocchet on the right of your screen. Watch Glenn Healy. Ow! Ooh. He changed positions at choir practice.
Ding. Oh my gosh. Andy Van Hellemond having a word with it. 16:35 to go. 2-on-1 break. Mullen in the middle. Shot deflected by Barrasso. Patrick Flatley the chance. Flatley still has it. Flatley trying to center, went by Mullen. Short-handed effort by the New York Islanders. 20 seconds left on the power play. Mario leads it to Francis. Ron Francis trying to go wide side. Blocked by Mullen to Lemieux. Lemieux shot deflected by Healy. And it comes all the way to center. 11 seconds on the Pittsburgh advantage. Francis ahead to Lemieux. Yager cutting, goes to the far side. Mullen, Yager couldn't get it into him. Jeff Norton blocked it. Held in again by Yager to Mullen. Power plays over. In front, Francis shot. Saved by Healy on Yager. Rebound, Yager can't bat it in. Held in at the point. Mullen and Norton after it. Norton trying to clear it out. Lemieux moves in. Even strength now. Penalty is over. Comes to center. Kasparaitis out of the box. He and Alf Samuelsson. Oh, keep the sticks down in that corner. Yager comes in and digs out the puck. King moves up on him. Fans standing and applauding the effort of the Islanders. Lemieux ahead of it. Mullen trying to hit him, but Norton went back and covered. Jeff Norton gets there, knocked again by Larry Murphy, not out. Dennis Vasky
Gretzky the shot, saved Barrasso, and gloved away to the side. Good help in front by Sean McEachran that time. Got the glove up on it. Mario racing up ice for it. Baskey comes back to get it. Baskey clearing it up. Near side. McEachran comes, Delgado comes over. Knocked away Pocket. Pocket centers it to Murphy. Murphy trying to clear it out, but a penalty coming up. An elbowing call. And it's going to be on Rick Tuckett, I believe, in a power play when we come back after we check in with John.
If things weren't bad enough for the Buffalo Sabres, take a look at this. Alexander Mogilny in late. Bellows gets nailed over top of them. Take a look at the right ankle. It's pinned underneath his body. He immediately reaches for it. Carried off the ice by teammates. And we will keep you updated. They trail the game as well. Gary and Bill.
John, thank you. And it is all going down the tube for the Buffalo Sabres right now.
Boy, that looked ugly.
Wow.
If it wasn't the ankle, it would have been the knee that went. Well, Scotty Bowman doesn't bother trying to keep Mario Lemieux's line away from any checking line. Travis Green and Brad Delgado and Claude Loisel have been able to get out there against the Lemieux line, and Scotty is not going to do that. His guys are the best line in the world, so he's got to let them play through it. But Rick Tocchet has picked up an elbowing penalty for the Islanders power play, which is red hot.
They scored. That's red hot. They are 1 for 2. Their third chance. Tocchet to the front. Shot. Save as he put it through a screen. And Barrasso hangs on. And then things get a little nasty at the side of the net. Ray Ferraro going down. Shell Samuelson getting up.
That's a big chunk of man going down when Shell Samuelson stumbles like that. The two biggest guys in the NHL are facing each other in this series. Shell Samuelson and Uwe Krupp, both listed at 6'6", 235 pounds. There's Krupp. And I'll tell you what, when they decide to take you out of the play and get their stick on you, there's no getting away. They're both very strong. What surprised Tom Barrasso on this play was that Dave Tippett was standing there screening. And the puck went right between his legs. Saw Samuelson take out Ray Ferraro, and then Derek King with a big shove on Samuelson.
That looked like someone had started one of those domino cascades. Didn't get all of that one, and Barrasso puts it in the glove and hangs on. Delgado! Great save, Tom Barrasso! Brad Delgado got the rebound. Tommy Curvers wanted to hold it in, but it goes over the glass and out of play.
I can't believe he got that, Gary. I mean, it was a slam dunk, wide open deal. But then again, how are you going to control this shot? Whammo. Barrasso did great just to get in front of it. And Brad Delgado with a sure goal in his stick. Oh, he did everything. He didn't, it kind of flipped up on him, so he didn't really get the velocity. Maybe if he'd been able to hit it squarely, he could have smashed it home. But give Tom Barrasso full.
Wide. Ray Ferraro behind the net. Ferraro back to Curvers. Malakoff wants to one-time it. Takes the shot. Blocked by Mario Lemieux, and that goes about 30 rows deep for a souvenir. There's Malakoff, who's creating the problem. Jam it. Barrasso has it underneath it.
Well, it's amazing what one power play goal does to an entire unit. The Islanders look confident. Their puck control is good in their power play. Give Al Arbour some credit as well. He's helped his guys by showing them a lot of video of what they're doing in the offense.
Benoit Hogue set up as the penalty expired. Intercepted Fitzgerald. Tom Fitzgerald's pass blocked. Samuelson sends it back out. Yager hit by Kasparaitis. Played up by Derek King. Taken by Steve Thomas, but a whistle, and Andy Van Hellemond says it was a glove.
In an ambulance, they all have x-rays. We will keep you updated between periods. Back to the game.
John, thanks very much. What a loss for the Buffalo Sabres. We're down 2 games to none and down in that game against Montreal. Baskey plays it back at his own blue line. Here, Pittsburgh's got a 2-1 lead. They led 2-0 after the first period on goals picked up by Francis and Yager. The power play goal by Ferraro's made it a 1-goal game, and there's Ray Ferraro sending it deep. Side of the net hung on to. Dangerous bounce right there. David Bollock was going by it and actually knocked the puck towards Barrasso, who saw it and put the glove down on top of it.
Well, Darius Kasparaitis has sure been a favorite of these fans here, and he's had some interesting things happen to him. He can sure dish out the body checks, too. The Islanders found out about that in the second day of training camp. See this hit up high on Yager? He hit Ray Ferraro twice down low in the same shift, and that's when he served notice that he was going to take anything that came his way. And, you know, he drove into Manhattan a couple of months ago to visit Nemchinov, and Kovalev of the New York Rangers had his car towed. Went to the car pound and went to the front of the line. If you've ever been to the car pound in New York, there's a big lineup on a Friday night. He went to the front and said, Islander, hockey player, airplane, Chicago. They gave him his car back. He got it towed again. He went to the front of the line the second time. The guy said, hey, wait a minute, you've been here before. You were supposed to be on your way to Chicago. He said, missed plane.
He learned quick, didn't he?
Get to the back of the line.
Yeah, that's right. Miss plane, don't miss line. Lemieux on the face-off. Out of the zone. Down goes Malakoff, but he took Stevens with him as Kevin Stevens was trying to break it up ice. They coop to Delgarno. Delgarno off Loisel. Loisel with green shot and a save made by Barrasso again. 2-on-2 is the way that one ended up. Murphy hits it. Up with a high stick. Loisel trying to hold it in. Now we get the whistle. And they delay it off. Healy trying to find it. Lemieux trying to jam it in. It goes behind the net. Delgarno. Murphy steps up. Held it in. Enough of that, says Loisel. Clears it out. Ramsey will have to play it. Puck was surrounded but not covered, and Andy Van Hellemond was standing right there and could still see it and let him play on. Steve Thomas knocks it into the zone back to center. Malakoff waiting for the Islanders to clear. Mullen's got Thomas. Thomas to tie. Saved by Barrasso. Held in by Brian Mullen again. Mullen cutting to the net. Pass to him blocked by Francis. Thomas' shot. Save again by Barrasso. Rebound in front. Hold. Thomas shot. Save Barrasso again. And it bounces to Larry Murphy, who ships it into the seats off his glove. Well, they will find the new puck. We'll check in with John.
Buffalo without Alexander Mogilny. Go to Pat LaFontaine. He spins in front, finding Ken Sutton, who reaches in the slot, and Patrick Roy never saw it. 2-1 now within one.
By Healy as Francis tried again. Mullen holds it in. King colliding with Francis. Daniels knocked down. Tries to wrap around himself. Deflected by Norton. Pressure being put on by Pittsburgh. Francis in the corner, tied up by King. Daniels moves over. Daniels has the puck, sends it behind the net, and Healy comes to help. Off the boards. Nobody can hang on to that one. That'll force Barrasso out. Almost Ferraro reaching in around him and a whistle on it. Ray Ferraro trying to touch it up. Got one going over the right shoulder. Great pressure again. In front, Yager. Healy went down. Yager goes down. They both get up and separate. Cleared in Alf Samuelson. Chances for the Pittsburgh Penguins here in the final 20 seconds. Kasparaitis from behind his own net up to Coop. Pittsburgh making the late change. Hogue hit by McKechnie. Benoit Hogue. He'll dump it into the wide side corner. Barrasso will play it up the boards, and that's going to do it. We're going to go to the third period with Pittsburgh holding on to a 2-1 lead.
It's a 2-1 lead, but it's not nearly as big. It's one goal less than the 2-0 lead that they had in the first period. But besides that, the Islanders have started to really get it going. They're playing their game now. This will be real interesting in the third.
So we got a great point. They play back off him. He lets the shot go. Patrick Roy is beaten again. The second straight goal that he did not see. That one is tied at 2 apiece. Back with more. Don Sweeney and Brian Bellows with a heavy hitting early. But 14 seconds into the game, Muller just turns, fires. Grant Fuhr a little shaky here between his legs. 1-0. Eric Desjardins with this shot. Great save by Grant Fuhr. Sabres couldn't convert. Dale Hawerchuk to Alexander Mogilny alone in front, but he gets hauled down. Bellows to Vincent Damphousse. He knocks this one into the open goal. 2-0 Montreal. Second period, bad news for Buffalo. Alexander Mogilny gets his leg trapped underneath him there as Bellows goes down on top of him. You can see he is in obvious pain. And if you see it one more time, the ankle and the knee both twist underneath number 89 right there. And it's trapped as the skate is nailed against the ice. They had to take him in for x-rays. We will update you when we find out exactly what's wrong. But back come the Buffalo Sabres. Pat LaFontaine turns in front, finds Ken Sutton. He just wheels. And Patrick Roy, you can see him looking one way, the puck going the other. He never saw it. On the power play, Doug Bodger. They play off him. He lets the shot go again. Roy never saw this one. Ties the game 2-2, and right now that's where they stand. Still 2 minutes left. This in the second period in a 2-2 game. For bonus coverage, let's take you out to the odd in Buffalo. The Sabres and Canadiens tied at 2 apiece.
Up at the line. Sabres clear the zone. Desjardins taking it over to Leclerc. He is tripped up on the play. May turns it back to the Montreal line. Desjardins now to Muller. Working with Leclerc and Bellows as Muller taken down on the ice. Montreal bench wants a call. Gets it to the line. Carbonneau is there. Lehman from the bench. But Dion couldn't hang on to it. Poked by Howard-Chuck. Back from May. Oh, Howard-Chuck leaving it down to the corner. Carbonneau tipping it along. Dion couldn't hang on. Under a minute to play here in this second period. May. The center out in front. Howard-Chuck, nifty move, takes the shot. Blocked by Dino, and that is clear. Sutton hits it right back in. Lehman getting it up to Carbonneau. Stopped in the line. Sutton starts the run. Works it across the Montreal line. Dino uses the boards to get it to Carbonneau at center. Howard-Chuck.
Blocked by Alf Samuelsson on Derek King. Samuelsson, we have seen him do that 3 times in the last game, and now again here tonight puts the body in front of a shot. 5 seconds on the power play for the Islanders. Ramsey couldn't get it around the boards. Flatley trying to center, comes back to Malakoff. Holds it in, penalties over, even strength. Dump behind the net, Samuelsson knocked down. Good play by Flatley behind the net, but he couldn't get the centering pass out. Now Green's got it. Kerber's centering pass comes back to the point. King will have to play it along the boards. King moving back in, centered, but right there was Ramsey. Ramsey up for Mullen. Mullen looking. Tocchet on the near side will give chase. Tocchet almost. Mullen shot. That was blocked by Malakoff. Benoit Holtz got it. 5:10 to go. Deflected again. Samuelsson again went down. Jágr breaking at the other end. Jágr with Kasparaitis on him. Jágr digging. Got it out in front. Covered up. Thomas. They were going to change. Lemieux just came out. Benoit Hogue was not looking for that pass. He was trying to get to the bench. He's still out there in the middle. There's Benoit Hogue.
Gary, if the Islanders don't tie this up, they're just going to say they ran out of time. I mean, they're getting the stick, the puck, and the right guy sticks to it at the point.
Loisel in. Loisel takes the shot. Barrasso the save. And hangs on for the faceoff. 3 minutes, 10 seconds. Pittsburgh leading it 2-1. Couldn't get the stick on it as it came through the middle. Mullen looking cross ice, has Tippett up front. Mullen will bring it in as the Islanders get back. Dropped it. Francis moving with it. Francis hit by Kerber, centered from Mullen. Mullen gets it. Mullen gets dumped by Patrick Flatley. Ray Ferraro brings it up on the right. 2:23 to go. Third period. Pittsburgh 2, the Islanders 1. Ferraro. Ryan Mullen. Mullen shot. Barrasso the save. No rebound. John Saunders.
The Sabres have not yet given up. Dale Howard-Chuck, watch the second effort. The one shot, stopped by Roy, comes back off his skate, flips it in the open net. They are tied 3-3 with under 7 to go. Gary and Bill.
Yeah, nobody goes down easy this time of year, John. You know that.
Send it in. Barrasso makes the save. Thought about playing it himself. Ferraro cutting, so he hangs on. 48 seconds to go. Our Budweiser Stanley Cup summary here in this third period. McGillney, a leg injury.
Chances is if he wins the draw, you don't have enough people to go back and get it.
He kicks it behind the net. Samuelsson around for Lemieux. Mario Lemieux. Joey Mullen is out in front. Mullen's got an empty net. Mullen Kerber's hacks and he scores! Joey Mullen being dragged down from behind has put this game away for the Pittsburgh Penguins on the empty net goal, making it 3-1.
Well, Ronnie Francis won the biggest face-off of this hockey game for him, and I said that you don't have enough people to go back and get it. You're going to have at least one guy to go back, but usually the offensive team has 2 guys on you right away. Well, Samuelsson went back to get the puck on the draw, and only one Islander followed him right away. What's he going to do? Mario Lemieux was lined up as a left winger, so with Francis on the win here, and he uses his feet so well, Samuelsson automatic around to Lemieux, and Joey Mullen half open, but the right half open. Boy, Ronnie.
The proceeding has been a special presentation of ICENET, the Islanders Championship Entertainment Network.